On Johannesburg's West Rand, row upon row of retirement estates built on the promise of a carefree lifestyle and a well-deserved rest.
At this stage, we really love to create the best environment.
Marketed to people over 50, the developments offer landscaped complexes centered around community hubs with all the amenities. Libraries, exercise classes, bingo, and above all, security.
Everybody in the family is involved in this business, and we take it very seriously.
It promises not just a good life, but critically, a secure investment in the form of a life right.
So we're really sitting with a community with happy people.
But as the COVID-19 lockdown struck 2 years ago, we investigated a disturbing trend of families left high and dry when it came to cashing in their investments in the Belvedere Group. And in the years since our story, there have been some startling developments, and now even greater injustices.
What's next for the problem over here? I believe this is an absolute crisis.
The lockdown in South Africa was imposed suddenly.
Shows how deep COVID-19 has rocked South Africa's economy.
It was 2021. 𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗔, grappling with level 3 lockdown and mourning her mother Shirley's death for a year, faced the challenge of trying to get a refund out of Belvedere's Harveston Retirement Village, where her mother had invested over 700,000 rand.
It was meant to be that I wouldn't have to wait when she had died. And in the contract itself, it said 30 days, you would be paid out. So it sounded wonderful and rosy.
Life rights ownership sounds appealing. There's the security of a lifestyle village for life. Should you move on or pass away, the developers resell your property and refund you the initial investment. But even a year after Leanne's mother's unit was sold, they were still owed 715,000 rand, money her mother had earmarked for other uses.
But mostly for my adopted niece and nephew, Kayla and Joshua. They have stolen her whole life's work. It's a disgrace. It really is a disgrace.
When we confronted the men behind the Belvedere Group back in 2021, they invited us to a crowded hall, having commandeered some residents to bolster their PR. Property developer brothers 𝗃𝗏𝗋 and Billy Steyn confirmed they were trustees on virtually all the trusts that own 2.4 billion rand worth of Belvedere retirement villages.
I am basically on, I would say, half, at least a half of them, and Billy is probably on the other half, more or less.
Why hadn't they paid out the distraught families whose stories we'd brought to them? Their answer at the time, COVID, of course.
Explained, we're still struggling to get funds in terms of normal operation from last year with COVID, lockdowns with council, lockdowns with the deeds office, etc.
But their answers did little to soothe distressed families in financial need.
I am not rich, I'm wealthy. I'm stinking wealthy.
It's been 2.5 years since we first met the Steyn brothers, and according to some residents of their retirement villages, things have gotten worse. 𝗃𝗍𝗃𝗍𝗶𝗏 was representing 𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗶 when we interviewed her last time. What's happened since then?
In consequence of the airing of the Carte Blanche program on the last occasion, it was a short while after that I checked my trust account and saw there was money paid into the trust account. So the Steyn brothers had then paid the capital amount, and in fact I think they added some interest to it as well.
That's surprising even to us.
The other result of that airing is that I've had many more people with the same problem contact me.
He wasn't the only one. The civil rights organization 𝗃𝗵𝗂, as well as our viewer submission inbox, saw a steady drip feed of Belvedere-related complaints. Soon, the Steyns turned filmmakers, releasing the truth about Belvedere villages that claimed our complainants were less than 3% of their business.
97, 98% of the people, in terms of normal operations, they're living here, they're happy.
While they claim that this is only 2 to 3% of their business, it's actually 2 to 3% too many. We now have 34 new cases where Belvedere have sold units and not paid out the capital. That's 34 families that have been left in financial and emotional distress.
Hello, and how are you?
𝗶𝗶𝘂's husband Colin is in frail care after several brain surgeries. They needed to move out of their Belvedere unit.
Because he's had, for the last number of years, he's had health issues.
Their son Richard took up their battle.
It's crazy. From September 2020, the new life right owner had paid the full sum stipulated in the contract.
And did they then pay your parents after the 30-day period like they had promised?
No, so the clock really started ticking in October 2020.
The delay is making it hard for them to meet Colin's medical expenses. They went to court within a year where Belvedere played legal cat and mouse games, withholding documents, delaying dates, settling at the very last legal moment when nerves are frayed.
That out-of-court settlement agreement becomes an order of the court.
Did they stick to it?
No. They paid on the 1st of March 2023, quite according to the contract, and they have defaulted on the other 5 out of 6 installments since March 2023.
Jeez. What kind of toll is this taking on your parents?
I think the dignity of an old person, when these contracts are not honoured, it takes a toll on them.
As things stand, the Steyn brothers owe Heather and Colin over R1 million. In the meantime, they've rebranded their service offering as Retire Well SA. We wondered if their failure to pay out in contempt of court is so rife, do they warn new buyers what they're letting themselves in for?
I mean, it's 2 bedrooms, eh? Yeah, it's 3 bedrooms.
Best resistance.
We sent in an undercover couple to film the marketing tour.
We're over here, which is rather nice.
And then the long-time agent gets down to the lowdown on life rights.
What you pay, less commission is what you get back. Okay? Because what you're buying here it's not a place, a house. It's a lifestyle. It's completely conducive to retirement.
So conducive that many people will be queuing up if ever you want to sell.
We sell the house, and we sell it. Normally gets paid after 30 days. Because you don't know exactly. Within a state, it might take a bit longer. Yeah. But it's not a long time. Like these houses sell because they're good.
So no warning at all to prospective buyers. And what if you don't have a lawyer on call? There seems to be a pattern. The only way to get your money, or even just a portion of it, is to go through the courts. But have the Steyn brothers found a loophole that helps them get off the hook by dragging the case? 𝗃𝗏𝗵𝗶𝘀 believes the Belvedere brothers may well be taking advantage of people's ignorance when it comes to understanding debt, whereby they only have 3 years to legally challenge the brothers to repay the amount due. So wait, does that mean that then the Steyn brothers can get away with not paying these people after 3 years?
If they can stall them long enough, that's the end of that claim. The Steyn brothers or the Belvedere group or whoever it is involved, they say, yes, we will pay you. Well, when are you going to pay?
This is exactly what Ingrid Lotze is asking, having waited 7 years. After her mother Violet died in 2016, her family have received only 1/3 of the money they're due.
And we're sitting after demands and summonses and going to the High Court and changing attorneys, going to the Ombudsman.
In 2018, the High Court ordered that Ingrid be paid out R1.1 million owed to her mom's estate in 3 equal tranches.
And we really had to continue to fight before we got that first tranche. And that is where it ended.
And going back to court has become too daunting.
Is anybody sane going to spend 500,000 rand to get that from Belvedere Estate? And they know that.
We reached out to the brothers again.
Mr. Steyn, I'm just checking because we wanted to do an on-camera interview with you, but I've been told that you've opted for a written response. Did you receive the email with our questions?
We did, yes. I did receive that, and we decided to go for a no reply on that one.
Why is that?
So, because I've done a comprehensive interview with Derek Watt.
We have more complaints than we did the last time. So we'd like to get some answers. Why are you continuing with this?
You can just listen to the interview that we had with him. That was as comprehensive as it can be.
But the question still remains why you aren't paying these people when you've received the money. Mr. Steyn? Mr. Steyn? You have so much to answer to. And he has hung up. He thinks the information from an interview done 2.5 years ago is sufficient.
I believe we are sitting here with a very vulnerable group of people in society, and a lot of them are scared to put their heads out over the trenches because they are frankly intimidated by the Steyn brothers.
𝗶𝗵𝗶𝘀 says one of his clients has now resorted to opening a criminal case.
Because in our view, and the court will find that this is a situation of theft.
If the Steyn brothers were to walk in right now, what would you say to them?
Shall I tell you? Footsack.
They shouldn't have to fight things like this. They shouldn't have to fight this. It's not golden years, it's stolen years that we're dealing with here.